The Weird and Wonderful by Kyle Purnell and Vanishing Ink Magic is a set of 6 brand new, super creative effects, including hypervisual switches, powerful everyday carry magic, mentalism, penetrations, and more. Is this right for you? Today, we're going to find out. If you find this review helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss an upload. What do you get? You can purchase these effects separately, which would set you back 45 United States dollars, or you can purchase these in the Weird and Wonderful package, which costs 25 US dollars. You do not receive any physical product, but you do get a collection of downloads which span about 90 minutes. Let's talk about each of the products individually. The first one we're going to be talking about is Prolink. Prolink is a penetration routine where you take a borrowed ring, a regular bill, and even a paper clip. You clip the tops of the bill so nothing can get in or out of the bill. Yet, you are able to penetrate the fibers of the bill with the ring without any weird movements. You can even unfold the bill and show that the ring really is linked onto it. Then you make it come back off the bill. But after it comes off the bill, the ring completely disappears. And for the grand finish, you can have it reappear wherever you want, in a nest of wallets, on the back of your finger, even on the spectator's shoulder. This is a very neat routine, and I was very happy when I found out it isn't limited to paper currency. It can also be done on plastic bills. However, you do need to spend more time creasing them if you're using plastic bills, because those are harder to fold. How is the tutorial for Prolink? The tutorial is very good. It's about 24 minutes long. Kyle's in a studio with good audio and video. Kyle explains the method in great detail from multiple camera angles. There are no switches or gimmicks required, and everything is completely examinable. He will give you some optional tips on what you can use to make the effect more convincing, and he'll also give you advice on what types of rings work best when you're borrowing a ring, or you can use your own ring. The angles on this are pretty good. They're about 180 degrees. You won't want people on your direct sides or behind you. Plus, there are a lot of convincers incorporated into this routine. It's also not extremely difficult to do. You will need to practice this, of course, so you can get all the movements to flow. It is very practical for many close-up environments, though, or even casual performances. It feels very impromptu, which is quite nice. And the fact that you can lock the ends of the bill together, yet you're still able to get the ring on, that is very strong. It's a great added convincer. It barely takes up any pocket space either. We all carry money, and you can just borrow the ring or even use your own. And the only really extra thing that you may need that you don't already carry is a paper clip, which is very small as well. The effect also resets instantly, meaning you can repeat it as soon as you are done the effect. That is awesome. And that's all I have to say about Prolink. The next mini project within the Weird and Wonderful project is called Cash Splash. This is very interesting to me. This is really crazy. It's at first presented as a color test, a compatibility test. So they think of any number between 1 to 60 pretty much. And then they go to your Instagram to see a test. They see which colors match with the number they're thinking of and say out loud the colors. You open your wallet and empty out your cash and show you have the exact same colors that match their random colors that they got assigned. And not only that, the amount of cash in your wallet matches the number that they are just thinking of. It is so powerful, and I think the effect is really incredible. It also gets your spectators to visit your Instagram, which gives you promotion and adds more traffic to your Instagram. And what I really like is that the cash is already on the table before you even ask how the number that they're thinking of. The cash is already on the table. There is no math that you have to do, and there's no memorization required pretty much. The thing is though, I think this would only work for US currencies. The reason is that you need to have a currency, you need the currency to have smaller notes, like a $1 bill. This is a very strong effect though, because it leads them down a garden path. At first, you reveal the colors match, which in itself is impressive, but it's not mind-blowing. It's an impressive feat, but it's not mind-blowing. And then once you've primed their expectations there, once they think that the trick is over, you show that it's just getting started, and then you show that you have the exact amount of money in your wallet. And that is an absolute killer. It's a huge kicker ending, and I promise you, this will get great reactions. You could perform it close up, walk around, parlor, or even stage, because you could make a big theatric, have everyone count the bills with you out loud, and then halfway through, as you're counting, you could have the person name the number out loud. And this is something that Kyle explains in the tutorial. I know it may not make sense with me telling you it right now. However, with the way Kyle has scripted it, it really adds a lot of tension and build-up if you use that choreography, that scripting. So if you purchase this, if you have the Weird and Wonderful or Cash Splash, you know what I mean. Is the wallet examinable? No, your wallet is not examinable. But who hands their wallet to strangers? It's a personal item. So I wouldn't hand the wallet out for examination anyways. So I wouldn't say examination is too big of a deal. The cash itself is examinable, and the card with the color stated on it is also examinable. Now, Kyle uses a different wallet. Kyle uses, I'm not going to say the name of this wallet because it would expose the method of the effect, kind of, but he uses a specific type of wallet. However, you can make almost any wallet work as long as it has a billfold compartment. The one thing, though, is that if you do customize it, so you set your wallet up and have Cash Splash set up in your billfold compartment, it would be probably more difficult to have other money in there, other spending money, because you want to show the wallet as empty, right? You want to show it as empty after you dump out all the money and the cards. You couldn't do that if you had extra spending money in your billfold compartment. So you would only want to have the necessary Cash Splash setup inside of there. And it's really not too difficult to do. If you can the system is very easy to learn, and it's not really something you need to memorize. There's pretty much no memorization required. You just have to follow the system, and that's a great thing about it. And honestly, it's super easy. It's practical for many environments. I think it's a super strong effect. It's a really nice kicker ending. The reset is not instant. You do have to take the bills and put them back in a certain position, if that makes sense. But you could possibly do that in front of your spectators, in my opinion. It's also completely angle proof. You can perform it surrounded and nobody would see a thing, which is another great thing about Cash Splash. I think it's very strong. And if you don't want to have them do the color test on your phone, because if you don't want it related to technology, because of course, sometimes, no matter how fair it is, whenever you use technology, there's going to sometimes be spectators who think the technology has something to do with the method. And if you don't want that, you can instead print out the sheet, print out the color test, and have them look at it and do it manually rather than going on their phone. And I like that they include that option. And Kyle is really helpful with the tutorial. He teaches a lot of psychological things, a lot of things that can strengthen the impact of Cash Splash. But that's all I have to say about Cash Splash. Let's move on to the third and the final segment or mini project in the Weird and Wonderful download. What I love the most about the Cash Splash effect is that it's some of the most pure kind of mentalism you can do, because you have the money already all set out on the table prior to the audience even telling you the number that they're thinking of in their head. What that means is if you're doing a one-on-one performance, they can start picking up the bills and counting, and they'll realize it's the same amount of money without even saying out loud the number they're thinking of. Or if you're performing it on stage, of course, there's theatrics you can add to it, and Kyle talks about it in the tutorial, that can build suspense, that can add wonder, and that can make it so much more powerful. The final mini project in this collection of the Weird and Wonderful download is called Swapshot. This is a huge project. It's a 35-minute long tutorial, and Kyle Purnell will teach 4 packet swap routines. Each routine is different from each other, and they can build on each other as well. They are all swap routines where packets of cards switch places with each other. Now, not only does Kyle teach the 4 swap routines, he'll also show you what he says is an improvement on the original twirl change. It takes away the discrepancy. It's very visual. None of the effects require gimmicked cards. They each only require 8 cards. However, the last routine is my favorite, and it requires 4 blank-faced cards and 4 of clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. My favorite of all routines is that last one. It's called White Whale 2.0. You put the blank cards on the table and take the 4 fours in your hand. You visually pull the ink off of each of the fours, and you can see the ink melting off pip by pip, and it is incredibly visual. I mean, all of the effects on this project on the Swapshot are so visual. And what I like is that there's variety. They're not just the same packet switch. It's not like they just one by one all switch places. They each have a different premise that sets them apart. For example, Swapshot, or the twisting swap, I believe, the first routine. What's special about that one is that it happens, the cards turn face down one by one, and after they're all face down, then they switch places with the cards on the table. The second routine is very, very slow, so it happens one card at a time. So you visually see each card switching places, and then it resets. And then you don't even need a table. So basically, the trick in itself is the cards you're holding slowly switch places with the cards under your armpit, and then they immediately switch back. And that's super cool. And the third one is very quick. It's a very quick moment. It only takes about 10 seconds to perform. You take a pack of cards in your left hand, pack of cards in your right hand, they visually switch. It's that simple. And the final one, the White Whale 2.0, as I said, is my favorite because it is super visual and it looks like it uses some kind of crazy gimmick, yet it doesn't. And all of these effects, well, most of them, can be performed pretty much surrounded, and all of them reset instantly and in front of your audience. What I like is that you can build on each other. So what I like to do is I perform the third effect on Swapshot, then I perform the second effect on Swapshot, then I close it with White Whale 2.0. Because if you carry around the 4 blank cards and 4 fours, you can not only perform White Whale 2.0, you can perform every single other trick on Swapshot, which is great because that means you can build a multi-phase routine around just a packet of 8 cards. And it's a great everyday carry. It really doesn't take up much pocket space, and it's something you can fit in your wallet and have always on you. Everything is completely examinable. It's not like you're using delicate gimmicks that are going to break. It just uses sleight of hand. Now, as for the difficulty of the sleight of hand, I'd say it's not beginner. While the moves are simple, I would still say it's an intermediate routine. The reason being, you have to focus a lot on the presentation you use and the way you're conveying it to the audience. You have to remember the sequence, and you have to be able to put it all together into a solid routine. And in order to do that, you have to be able to practice this a lot. And this is very practical. It works for close-up magic, walk around, because it resets instantly. It's very commercial. And I really love the Swapshot project. I also like Kyle's visual color change. You just shake it and there's no discrepancies. It's very cool. And yeah, there's something in Swapshot for everyone. There's something in this whole project for everyone. And that's all for the mini projects within the Weird and Wonderful. Let's wrap this up. Let's talk about the Weird and Wonderful. I think this is just a crazy download because there is so much variety. If you like card magic, you have Swapshot. If you like organic impromptu magic, you have the Prolink, which is a super cool ring through build penetration. If you like mentalism, hard-hitting mentalism that can play to huge crowds, then you've got Cash Splash. So there's really something in here for everybody. And let's talk about the price, because this is crazy. This costs 25 United States dollars if you buy the whole bundle, the Weird and Wonderful bundle. That is an absolute steal, because each of these effects are actually things that you could perform at professional gigs. Not one of them is just a stupid trick. Not one of them feels like just a throwaway piece. They all have a purpose, and they all feel like something that could belong in an actual professional magician's repertoire. And that's what I love about this. Kyle just oozes creativity. I love Kyle's work. He has released a lot of great stuff. I picked up Brainchild. He did great with that. He released Rainbow Road. I loved that as well. And with this, there's just so much. Kyle has unleashed a ton of great magic. This is all unique stuff. It's all commercial stuff. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. But finally, what percent am I giving this? I am giving this 100%. Yes, 100%, because it really covers everything. It covers everything you could possibly want in a download. It has visual magic, mentalism, it has card magic, it has sleight of hand magic, it has easy to do magic, it has pretty much self-working magic. So 100%, this covers so much. And I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.